Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds.
Hey everybody, this is Evan and John, and you're listening to the Boomer and X Show.
Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us for another Sports Short here on the Boomer and X Show.
What's up? Tonight, I guess, is October 5th, 2016. We're going to be hitting you with some numbers from LSU.
I've got numbers.
You got numbers?
I got numbers.
LSU numbers, Odell Beckham Jr., yes. And out of the, 2,000 players in the NFL, he gets his own segment.
He gets his own segment. And not for good reasons.
Yeah. NFL, NCAA last week, and then we're going to hit college and pro upcoming football games.
And then we've got a Mad Dash segment that is rich in non-football material.
Yeah.
At the end of the show, which is a little unusual for us. Evan, I'm going to give you some numbers, and I want you to tell me what that number represents. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. First number, 634.
I have no idea.
That's the total yards.
That they got in that game?
Yeah. And that was the most ever versus an SEC opponent.
Ever.
Ever.
Okay.
Ever. I'm going to give you another number. 14.
Rushing touchdowns.
14 points in the fourth quarter. Doesn't sound like an extraordinary amount, but when you consider that the previous 4 games this year had a grand total of 0, it's impressive. 18. 18 first downs in the first half, the most for LSU in any game since 2004, when Nick Saban was the coach.
I see where you're going with this.
And 42 minutes and 33 seconds.
Possession?
Time of possession, which leaves 17 minutes and 27 seconds for the other guys. So I didn't think going into the week 1 post-Miles era that there would be anything that could happen that would make me really optimistic for the rest of this year. But given how they played in that game against Missouri and the numbers that we just went over, I just saw a completely different team.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that coming. I mean, I didn't see that much of a blowout, but I did see them playing with the new fire. But yeah, I mean, just hearing like Fournette saying how they're actually doing they're actually practicing now and not like doing their head-to-head crap that they were always doing.
Well, it definitely seems like a lot of changes were made. Practices were shortened.
Yeah,
they were shortened quite a bit, but then more film study. But what we saw during the course of the game was a functional offense with a game plan.
Yeah, when they threw the ball on first down, very first play of the game, they threw it. I lost it. I was like, what? I didn't know that they could throw on first down. And you actually texted me, and you're like, I thought it was illegal to pass to your tight end. I thought the tight end could only block. Because they actually threw to their tight end, which they have a tight end.
They do. In fact, I think they have a couple of them.
And for the past half ever, all the tight end position in LSU's been doing is blocking for the running back.
For those of us that watch LSU with passion, to have gone through the last several years, and this was even with successful, 9 and 10 win seasons, but you always saw underperforming. And the other night I saw playing to potential. And Missouri's not the toughest team in the world. Exactly. They're not, but these numbers were again, it's an all-time record versus SEC teams.
It's not just against Missouri. It's against since 2004.
Well, and the 18 first downs was the most of any opponent. Well, since 2004.
Oh, since 2004.
Yeah. Now we'll see. We'll see what the rest of the season looks like. But let's assume that the week 1 of the Orgeron era was was the first week of an 8-week job interview. It could not have gone any better.
Yeah, it's true.
So, All right, on to Odell Beckham Jr. He continues to make news for all the wrong reasons. And
did we talk about him getting mad and hitting the net and the net hitting him back?
Yeah, that was in the game the week before, and then in the Monday night game from this week, he has a grand total of 3 catches for 23 yards, and then I guess he does an interview
and his 0 touchdowns.
0 touchdowns for the year.
Yeah,
right.
He hadn't had a touchdown since December 20th.
And he has an interview where he says that, and I want to get your take before I give you mine. I said I said last week, and I compared him to Des Bryant, and that I didn't want to see it. But a couple of things he said stuck out in my mind. One was that the football field is his escape, and that it's not fun anymore. Now, before I weigh in on those particular comments in the context of the behavior we've seen of late, I'd like to get your thoughts on what you're seeing out of him.
I think he's just an emotional player, and the guys that are blocking him are exploiting his emotional weaknesses and making him. I don't know if he has the mental strength as much as you need physical strength on the field. You also need mental strength. I don't know if it's all there. And since he's such a superstar athletically, guys are attacking him where they see the weakness, and that's his emotions. And clearly, as you see, he's getting chippy, he's taking cheap shots, crying. Obviously, you can break the man down if you can get to him emotionally, and that's what I think guys are doing, and it's working.
It's definitely working. Specifically, though, I want to address the football is my escape, and it's not fun anymore. Which makes me wonder if there's something going on in his
he's saying
personal
something
life.
About he's a targeted player. I don't know what he meant by that.
Well, he means on the field. He means the other.
Well, he did that to himself.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand that. And that, to me, that's easy. That's that's part of the game. And you're talking about going after someone's weaknesses, and he's probably. Refs are supposed to be unbiased and neutral. Yeah. But they're only human, and maybe there are some calls going against him, but calls go against everybody. Mm-hmm. And certainly opposition players are going to attack a weakness. If it's psychological or any other way, they're going to attack it, like you just said. But it's the football is my escape comment that just makes me wonder if there's something going on in his personal life that is showing up on the football field.
Like what?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a part of his personal life, but he was a player at LSU, and there was never anything. There were never any reports or any signs of anything other than he was a good student and an excellent athlete. And his first year and 4/5 in the pros. Even though he kind of dealt with some hamstring issues, there was never any visible signs of frustration, any kind of acting out. But now all of a sudden, the last couple of weeks of last season and the first 4 weeks of this season, we're seeing a completely different human being. That's what, and the whole football is my escape. That's what has me wondering if there's something going on that none of us know about. I'm kind of trying to give him an out. I'm trying to be a little more sympathetic than I was last week, just based on the fact that this is totally new behavior. You buy any of it?
Sure. I hope he gets his head on his shoulders. I hope he doesn't let it get worse. I hope we've seen the worst of whatever he's going through, and maybe figures out that guys are exploiting this little chink in his armor. And
I will say this, in his defense, his teammates don't seem to be doing a good job of having his back.
Oh, no, not at all. But I think he might have done that to himself,
too. How many players have we seen in sports acting in ways very unbecoming, yet their teammates...
And his teammates behind him. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so... again, I don't like it. I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but I am just a little more sympathetic because I'm just curious as to why we're seeing someone be a completely different person since about December of last year. And it's quite possible that he needs a couple of weeks away from the football field to do some sort of counseling completely un-football related, because I just have a sneaking suspicion that there's something else here other than what's going on the field.
Move on to, let's start with NFL last week. Only game that really, without looking at any notes, that sticks out to me, was it Thursday night? Was it Patriots getting beat at home against the Bills?
No, that was Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah, that was Sunday. The Patriots got shut out by the Bills, and we talked on the show last week about the Patriots looked like they were invincible. They could have put anybody in at quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And here they get shut out at home for the first time since 1993. What else of note? Well, the Steelers,
Saints won.
The Saints won. You know what? San Diego lost.
But that's true. I'll call it a Saints win.
The Chargers
first of the year.
The Chargers gave that away with 2 fumbles in the last 4.5 minutes of the game. The Saints recovered both of them, and to their credit, they were able to score touchdowns on both of them, which they had to do. They had to get 2 touchdowns. A touchdown and a field goal wasn't going to get it done. Certainly 2 field goals weren't going to get it done. But still, gift-wrapped 2 turnovers in the last 4.5 minutes of the game, and without that, the Saints are 0-4.
So we had the Jacksonville Jaguars at home.
That's right.
The Colts. And I did air quotes because they weren't at home. They were.
Yeah. We actually had a listener
called us out, and I was like, technically they were at home because, anyways.
Yeah.
Now here's even getting more technical. They're in London every year until 2020.
Who?
Jacksonville.
You mean, Jacksonville.
So
wow.
They have a lot of Jacksonville fans there because they go every year.
Okay.
And I saw that in the stands. It was almost a home game for Jacksonville.
Right.
So even though they're, across the water in London.
And they did beat the Colts.
Yeah, they beat them by a field goal, I think.
The Colts are in trouble.
Yeah,
the
man.
Colts are in trouble. And look who else is in trouble. The Panthers. The Panthers are 1-3 after going 15-1 last year during the regular season.
48 points to 33? I put this in the Mad Dash, but we can hit it now. They questioned Josh Norman, their star cornerback. He said, "Well, you get what you pay for," because I guess they didn't want to pay him.
You're right, and he's a Redskin now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
although you couldn't,
Julio was
300,
killing him.
300 yards.
I mean,
one receiver, 300 yards.
If you're a daily
Ryan,
fantasy player, you can send your Christmas gifts to Atlanta's way for that one because that was Julio killed him, and like Josh Norman said, you get what you pay for.
I think we're starting to finally see something that makes sense, and that's Cam Newton will not last forever.
Yeah, he's on concussion protocol right now.
Right, but we've talked about. I mean, yeah, he's big, yeah, he's strong, but you just can't keep taking the hits. You just can't keep taking the hits.
And I've said it before. He leads with his kind of shoulder head when he takes these hits too. So. Puts himself in a bad spot. And
to me, it looks like this team was centered around Cam. Certainly the offensive part of the team was centered around Cam. I said a week or two ago, as goes Cam, goes the Panthers, and it's not looking good.
4-0 Broncos.
Broncos are 4-0.
Now, they did lose Trevor Siemian, but I think he's playing Sunday. That's really all that stuck out to me. Did you want to talk about the Steelers?
Well, the Steelers, it was good to see them bounce back, and not surprising, quite honestly.
Against the Chiefs.
At home, prime time.
Yeah.
Prime time at home, the Steelers are just ridiculous,
true.
And Big Ben is ridiculous. He had 5 touchdowns in that game, 4 in the first half. Get this, in the first half he had 4 touchdowns and 3 incompletions.
Dang. Vikings rolling on, continuing. They beat at home the Giants. Man, the Vikings are a 4-0. They're a good surprise for me. Especially you lost AP.
They lost the quarterback and their main running back.
When you hear
they're getting it done with a great defense. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. When you hold the New York Giants with the Super Bowl quarterback and all those weapons to 10 points, that's something.
One other team that I have to mention as being something of a surprise, because we didn't do it on the show, but in conversation with you, I made fun of the Los Angeles Rams after 2 games. In the points for column. They had a total of 9. Not even double digits. They had 9 points in 8 quarters of ball. They had 9 points. They were 1-1 at that point. Well, they're 3-1 now.
Yep.
The Rams are 3-1 and winning their division.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Cardinals are a big disappointment. And Carson Palmer went out he was concussed.
Concussion,
wasn't he?
I think.
Yeah. So
that's not good.
Probably over the next week or two, we'll take a little bit more of a firm look at the standings. But there's some surprises, some good ones and some bad ones after 4 games.
Moving on. NCAA upcoming.
upcoming. I think of it, to me, LSU at Florida. They'll,
if the game happens. Now they're talking about it's gonna happen, but they might delay the kickoff.
okay.
So-
Well, that would be fine too, as long as it's
Yeah.
still on TV. The Ed Orgeron show goes to Gainesville, Florida, this week. I've seen some LSU games, and in fact, 2 years ago in Gainesville, the only reason we won was because Florida stunk it up even worse than we did, and that was the last year that Muschamp was the coach there. So
I wonder. So LSU's still unranked, and Florida's 18. So
Yeah.
I wonder. Usually when these two meet up, they're like in the top 10. So definitely a big game. I mean, it's conference. They need to win. Both teams.
Well, those that are looking at LSU and saying, "Yeah, but that was Missouri." This now,
Exactly.
now there's this. Now there's the. Personally, after what I saw the other night, I expect them to go over there and win. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't think there was anything I could see in Saturday night that would make me optimistic about the year. But I was wrong.
This is gonna be a good game. Florida's 4-1, so
Yeah,
LSU's
yeah.
3-2. So definitely gonna be a good one. Tennessee going to Texas A&M. I want to watch that one.
Yeah, I do too. Tennessee is. I think they're living on borrowed time. I mean,
How can you say they're 5-0?
did you see how they won that last game?
It was.
It was a Hail Mary.
That's true. But hey, 5-0, man.
and we'll see. We'll see. Texas A&M.
So is Texas A&M,
A&M started the year with Sumlin on the hot seat, and now they're a top 10 team. So that's going to be an excellent game. I'll tell you one that I'm really interested in, and that's Florida State and Miami. Evan, Florida State's 0-2 in the ACC.
You're interested in just because of the conference?
It's because Florida State is 0-2 in the ACC.
Yeah.
And I don't know when's the last time that was the case. And Miami playing at home and being ranked somewhere between 9 and 14, somewhere in that general area, I would assume they're favored. In fact, let's see. I have lines in front of me. Miami's 3-point favorite. If Florida State loses this game, and the way Miami's playing, that's a distinct possibility, they'll be 0-3 in the ACC. They joined the ACC. They were already a power when they joined the ACC, because they were independent for a lot of the years of the Bobby Bowden era. I'm going to say that it's quite possible this is the first time they will have ever been 0-3 in the ACC, if indeed that's how they end up at the end of
probably.
Saturday's
I've never heard
game.
of them 0-3
And again, this is a team that had national championship aspirations
this year.
Yeah.
Michigan at Rutgers. Now I don't really care about that game,
Mhm.
but I wanted to hit on. This is their first away game.
Yeah, they had five
They're
home
5-0, and this is their first away game. So they're 6-0 because they're gonna go to the.
Yeah, Ohio State beat Rutgers 58-0 last week. So yeah, Michigan. Here we go. The Red River battle, Oklahoma and Texas, being played in Dallas every year at this time, and apparently the powers that be at the University of Texas are pulling the supports out from under Charlie Strong. They want to make an excuse to get rid of him, because we know who they're going after.
Who?
Tom Herman, the University of
okay.
Houston coach. That's who they're going to make a play for. They are turning their back on Charlie Strong. He can go ahead and assume that this is his last year. And I'll tell you what it reminds me of. The same way the San Francisco 49er organization turned their back on Jim Harbaugh in his last year there. I just see similarities. I was wanting Charlie Strong to do well at Texas. I believe if he's gone at the end of this year, he will be coaching somewhere next year.
LSU.
No.
Why?
Because there's a lot of people in Louisiana that wouldn't go for that.
Like wouldn't go to the game?
They wouldn't go for that. If they don't like that in a quarterback, they sure aren't going to like that in a coach.
Okay.
Yeah. Alabama at Arkansas. Arkansas is getting 17 points at home, Evan. I just found a bet.
Take that bet?
I just found a bet. Arkansas is getting 17 points at home. I like Arkansas to cover. I don't think they'll win, but that's a lot of points. Arkansas is playing good ball this year.
They're not going to win, but you're right. They're not going to get more than 3 touchdowns on them.
It's going to be part of my parlay.
Because you have to beat, you can't tie, right? So that's 3 touchdowns.
Well, 18. I mean, if they lose by 18 or more, that's a losing
How'd you get
bet.
18.
Well,
I guess it's safety.
Things happen,
Yeah, that's
safeties
true,
and
yeah.
field goals, and
Yeah.
you can get all kind of oddball numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Arkansas covers that.
So let's do NFL then.
NFL coming up.
Yeah.
What do we got this week?
Let's start with Texans going to the Vikings. What do you think about that?
J.J. Watt's going for the year, isn't he?
Yeah. He's definitely gone for this game.
Until the Vikings lose, I'm going to say they're going to keep winning. And I mean, they're impressive, and like we're seeing with Denver, and like we saw with Denver last year, the offense is nothing to write home about.
That's true,
and yet they are rolling with defense, and I'm going to say they keep it going.
Okay, Jets going to Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Is that Hart?
No, the Steelers are looking better. They're at home, and the Jets have been a big disappointment. Ryan Fitzpatrick's thrown, I think, 9 interceptions in his last 2 games. Although the Pittsburgh defense isn't a quarterback eater by any stretch of the imagination. The Steelers in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So poor Browns. They got Tom Brady coming back. They're going to Cleveland, but the Patriots at Browns, I don't know what the spread on that is, but Patriots are going to put a stomping on them.
I've got a spread right here. Cleveland's an 11-point dog. They're getting 11 points at home. Cleveland they've played decent at times. They had some very bad timed turnovers last week. Sure, I mean, New England is a double-digit favorite, and that's certainly justifiable. I want to see Brady get a game under his belt before I predict him to come out and be all-world.
He's the machine, man.
So he's going to do it.
Yeah.
5 touchdowns in his first game back?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take that bet. I'll bet the under. I'll bet the under on that.
Oh, let me say this. Blunt is going to get the ball in scoreable positions a lot more than he has been.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say he's going to get it 5 touchdowns, but he's going to get the team in 5 touchdown scoring situations.
Here's one that's interesting. Atlanta's going to Denver.
Yeah.
Now, we watched Atlanta put up a half 100 almost last week on Carolina.
Yeah, but this is the Broncos.
This is the Broncos. So what we have is the irresistible force versus the immovable object.
The immovable object being
Denver's
Julio
defense.
Jones?
Denver's
Oh,
defense.
the defense. Okay.
The immovable object is always the thing that's keeping
Julio
something
Jones.
else. No, it's always the thing that's keeping something else from moving.
Yeah. I think the immovable force will win this one. The
Nice.
immovable force.
Yeah, you combined them both.
I know.
That's like last week
The
when I
unstoppable.
guaranteed the Tigers would win when they were going up against the Missouri Tigers.
Let me put it easier. The Broncos are going to win.
Okay. Giants are getting 8 at Green Bay. The Giants are a mess. Odell Beckham's a mess. Green Bay's coming off of a bye. I like Green Bay.
You know, I like the Giants on this one.
Covering or winning outright?
Winning.
Really?
Yeah.
Based on what?
Based on, I want them to beat the Packers.
Is it based on it's dark is right before the dawn?
I think the Giants, man, I feel like they got to turn it around sometime, and hopefully the coaches are going to get with Odell and get his head right. And hopefully, I don't want to say he's due a great game because this is football. You never can really say they're due. But I think it's time. It's time for a blow-up to happen for this team, and I think this is a good setting for it to happen.
If we hadn't seen him the past few weeks on just this incredible downward spiral, I would agree with that. And his stat point, with the exception of a couple of touchdowns, his stats this year are very similar to after 4 games last year, except he did have a couple of touchdowns last year. But this meltdown and this what's going on in between his ears is something that I don't want to try to predict because I don't know what to make of it. I think there's more there than we know about, but if he ends up being a major factor and if they win this game, I'll be very, very surprised. I will be.
Let's do this last one. The Bills, who just spanked New England at home, are going to the Los Angeles Rams. I say the Bills are going to keep rolling on this one.
I'm going to go with the Rams on this. Rex Ryan somehow, some way, occasionally has Bill Belichick's number.
Yeah, that's true.
That was his 5th win
true.
against him in like 15 or 16 attempts, but still, he's beaten him 5 times, and I don't know if there's anybody else in the league that's done that.
So I heard a story. It was like a conference call with reporters, and Rex Ryan was posing as a reporter and was asking Bill Belichick random questions.
Yeah.
Like you said, he knows how to get to him, kind of, and that's one of the things I think he does to. And he was asking him like, why aren't you gonna play why are you gonna play a hurt Brissett over a guy who was great in college as a quarterback? Trying to pretty much talk him into playing someone he didn't want to as quarterback. That's pretty smart.
Yeah. Jeff Fisher seems to be a little bit on a mission to prove everybody that him leaving the first overall draft pick on the sidelines with a clipboard is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, we'll see.
I can't believe I'm predicting the Rams to be 4-1, but I am. That's what they'll be if they win this game.
That's true, but they're not gonna.
Okay,
gonna be 3-2 after this weekend.
Let's see. We cleaned up the fact that we didn't know the guys were playing in England last weekend, so there's probably another one of those this year, isn't there? Haven't there been 2 a season lately?
Yeah, isn't it like close to Thanksgiving they play in London?
Maybe. But anyway, I think there's another one. All right, told you so's and didn't see that coming. You got anything? I do.
Go ahead and go. I'm sure I'll come up with
Told you so. Bye-bye, Miles. It's been a long time coming. It needed to happen actually before last November. When it didn't happen, it needed to happen probably a year earlier, if not even more than that. I don't wish him ill. I like him personally, but I sure as hell am glad he's not the LSU coach anymore. Told you so. Needed to go. Didn't see that coming. Every weekend in football, there's several of them, but New England getting shut out at home by the Bills.
Yeah,
that's got to be mine.
Those were good enough. I don't.
You'll take them.
I don't want to take a.
All right, Mad Dashin. We got some bad news. If you're an animal lover or an LSU fan, Mike the Tiger.
Mike number 6.
Mike number 6. A beautiful cross between a Siberian and a Bengal tiger, who has been the LSU mascot since 2007, is gravely ill with cancer, isn't it?
Yep. And I think they're euthanizing him pretty soon.
So, bad, sad news.
They gave him a month. Today they gave him, after blood work or whatever, they gave him one more month to live. So the hunt for Mike 7 is on.
Yeah. Very sad. And I tell you, if you ever get a chance to catch an LSU game, make sure you check out Mike the Tiger's digs.
Yeah, what do they have? Probably
nice.
A quarter of an acre.
I'd say it's every bit of a half acre, if not more.
And it's a big tiger sanctuary.
Yeah,
it's right in the middle of campus, right by the stadium.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. And you know that whole thing was actually Nick Saban's idea.
I did know that.
It was.
Now they've had tigers.
Oh, they've had tigers
since forever,
and
that awesomeness of a
and truth be known, before this, it was not good.
It wasn't great,
hey, props to the school and to Nick Saban for coming out of the dark ages on that a few years ago. But anyway, Mike 6 probably not too much longer to be around. Evan, the NFL ratings drops on these Sunday night games.
Yeah, I was reading a thing on it. They have their projections that they want to hit, and obviously the main reason is for commercials,
Mm-hmm. Well, that might be a reason the ratings are dropping.
Bad commercials?
No, just too many commercials.
Oh.
I mean, a team scores, and then they come back. Then you go on a 3-minute commercial break, and then they come back and they have a kickoff, and then you go back on another 3-minute commercial break.
Well, you got to see Peyton Manning singing the Nationwide song at least.
I'm not going to pick on Peyton because I think, look, pride cometh before a fall, and the NFL has been the 800-pound gorilla for a long time.
Now, they're getting, I think it was like $40 million, and they're competing with the Emmys or something, some kind of music.
That might be once.
One night.
Yeah.
And that was the night they're complaining, and they said their numbers, and like any other station would love to have those viewers.
Well, you're right.
So like you're saying, they've been the big dog for a while, and I'm not saying they're not anymore, but they're just, it's dropping lower and lower. And why? I'm going to say blowouts. We got a lot of just bad matchups on Sunday night primetime. I mean, look at Pittsburgh the other night. You can't say, all right, that's gonna be a blowout, but you want to put your best matchup on the primetime, and you don't want to see a 47-3 blowout.
Unless you're a fan of that team.
Unless you're a fan of that team, you'll watch the whole thing.
If I weren't a Steelers fan, I would have turned that game off.
But yeah, there's not 80 million.
No, there's not. There's only 50 million.
Yeah.
So. I mean, you ever see a road game with the Steelers fans in the stadiums?
They can take over.
They're a presence no matter where they play. Major League Baseball is the playoffs are underway, and we've got the Toronto and Texas and Boston and Cleveland in the American League.
Mm-hmm.
And in the National League, we've got the Dodgers going up against Washington and the Giants going up against the Cubs. Those are the divisional series matchups. Making a pick?
Yeah, I got the Red Sox in the AL.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Rangers in second, Blue Jays in third.
Well,
I know. I wrote it down that
So
way.
you think Boston is going to emerge and make it
Yeah.
to the World Series from the American League?
Oh, yeah, and I think they win it, too. And I'll get to that after I tell you who's winning the NL. Cubs. So I got the Cubs and the Red Sox going at it with the Sox winning. The main reason is this is a
send-off.
It's
exactly.
a
send-off for Big Papi.
Big Papi. So I think, and he's not like Kobe.
No,
when they did the send-off for Kobe, they went 0-70 or something. This is he's still, I don't know how old is he, 40?
He's 40. He turns 41 next month, and here's his batting average this year, .315. He's got 38 home runs and 127 RBIs this year.
So you're not sending off some guy, some geriatric, should have retired 3 years ago guy.
Right.
I mean, he's still getting it.
10-time All-Star, 3-time World Series champ. He played with the Twins from 97 to 02. He's been with the Red Sox since 03, and he set a single-season Red Sox record with 54 home runs in 2006. He was born in the Dominican Republic, Evan, and he became a citizen of the U.S. in 2008. And he is the all-time leader in Major League Baseball among DHs, among designated hitters, for home runs, 485, RBIs, 1569, and hits, 2192. So
Too much sauce.
he continues to get it done.
Did you ever see that announcer saying that?
I don't think so.
Something about too much sauce. He's got too much sauce. That might not even been Big Papi he was talking about. I don't know. So, do you agree with me? You think the Sox are going to win it before, or
look, I have two sentimental favorites. Them because of him, and the Cubs. The Cubs,
they've been rolling
from Jump Street this year. This season they had the best record. Their record was so good early in the year. I think after their first 3 games, they were 10-0. But if they don't win it this year, I don't want to see. I don't want to see half of the city of Chicago commit mass suicide.
It's going to be an amazing World Series.
Well, we don't even know who's going to be in it.
Oh, they're going to be in it. Sox.
Those
and
two.
Cubs. Those two.
You know what? I'll watch. I will watch more than the last game if those two are in it. I will.
Oh, you only watched the last game?
I'm usually a tune in for if it's like Game 7.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I'll make an effort this year. I really will.
Okay, we got some LSU news. Hit us with some LSU news.
Look, I think on this show, you and I talked about how it looked like Ben Simmons tanked his 1-year LSU career. He goes up to Philadelphia this year, and we're starting in NBA preseason. He goes up to Philadelphia, breaks a foot. Look, I'm not saying he did that intentionally, but here's the deal. His agent is now out there publicly saying that he probably needs to take the whole year off. Now that's not his call to make. That's the team's call to make.
That's whoever's paying him however many millions he's getting to make.
But look, you and I both said that we wouldn't draft this guy with the first pick for anything. Anything.
Nope.
They didn't. Keep in mind, his 1 year at LSU, they weren't even one of the 64 teams that made it into the NCAA tournament. How great was he? If he couldn't even get his team into the NCAA tournament, I predict that he is a bust.
I'm not going to say he's a bust.
He's a bust.
I think he was a bust in college.
Well, he's a huge bust in college.
To get to the NBA. The NBA was his goal in the whole time, and he had to go to college for 1 year, so he did that because he had to. But I think the NBA was his goal, and he's where he wants to be.
The way he played showed me that all I needed to know about his character.
Yeah, well, we hadn't seen him in the. I think he's where he wants to be now. So we'll go from his first day on a professional court.
So that made it okay for him to not put forth any effort?
Definitely not.
Okay.
And LSU was, I don't want to say stupid for getting him because you're
not going to pass.
You don't want to pass on him.
No.
But
no.
You knew he was only going to be there for 1 year. And he very lackadaisical effort all year.
Yeah, it was bad.
And he really didn't have a coach that was pushing him or the whole team at all to be.
The whole thing was ugly.
Exactly.
But he was the star of the show, and the show stunk. So, there. Why did you write Tim Tebow's name on my whiteboard?
I believe he's going pro.
In what?
Baseball.
Well, yeah, he's in the instructional league.
Yeah, but he did good. His first at bat, he got a home run, and I think at the two next ones, he had 2 RBIs.
Did he?
So he's good at baseball. So I think
he's good in the instructional league.
Yeah, well,
you think we'll ever
got
see him
an
in the majors?
invitation to the somethings at somewhere.
And then
I should do my homework.
It narrows it down.
I believe it's like the manta rays of. It was out of country.
Well, okay. Well, that right there tells you that there's nothing to get excited about.
No, man, he's good.
Okay.
He will be a pro baseball player.
He will
one
be
day.
a Major League Baseball player at the same time that Tiger Woods comes back and wins that major.
I will take that bet.
Okay. All right. And the Carolina
We already hit that.
Panthers are missing Josh Norman by virtue of the fact that they're 1-3 and gave up 500.
Yeah, they didn't want to
last
pay
year.
for him, man.
So, yeah, cornerbacks are important in a league that passes the way this one does.
Oh yeah.
So, are we going to leave it with that?
Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap us up. The Boomer and X Show at yahoo.com. That's our website, cozy little home on the web. The Boomer and X Show at yahoo.com. If you want to email us, at Boomer and X Show is our Twitter and Facebook. We're now on YouTube and iHeartRadio. And that's all the little plugs I got to give. John, I'm about all out of words. What you got?
I was all out of words about 35 seconds ago.
All right, y'all take care.